Hi, hello, good evening, and welcome to my presentation on software design, PowerPoint presentation on software design. Today, I'm going to talk about the Scrum method. What is Scrum? Scrum is a subset of Agile, and it's one of the most popular process frameworks for implementing Agile. It is very easy to use. It is one of, like I said, it's one of the most used process. Scrum increases productivity and saves more time compared to waterfall model. Scrum benefits business and organization. So depending on how big or small your business is, Scrum is really, really good. It benefits your organization. Scrum follows a set of roles and responsibilities and meetings that never change. For example, Scrum calls for 4 ceremonies that provide structure to each sprint: sprint planning, daily stand-up, sprint demo, sprint retrospective during each sprint. And there's also a team whilst this project is going on. The team will use visual artifacts like burn down charts and taskboard to show progress and receive incremental feedbacks. Now move on to the advantages and disadvantages of Scrum. Scrum saves a lot of time. It's not sorry. It's not. It doesn't consume a lot of. Sorry. Scrum saves a lot of money and does not consume. It does not consume time because regular sprint is held to review the project. Stakeholders and customers are also involved in every single part and phase of the project. So let's imagine if a customer wanted to know what's going on during a phase, they could speak to the stakeholder and they could work together, or they could analyze a phase and see what they can do to make the project a success. It also increased team accountability. There is no project manager telling the Scrum team what to do or what not to do. Instead, the team collectively work together to complete a sprint. They can all work together in improving and collaborating and helping each other independently. And it's also increased cost savings, so it save more money. Constant communication ensures that the team is aware of all issues and changes as soon as they arise, helping to lower expenses and create equality by coding and testing features in smaller chunks. There is a continuous feedback, and mistakes can be corrected earlier on before it gets too expensive to fix. Now move on to the disadvantages of Scrum. Sorry. This method needs a fixed deadline for the project, or else there could be delays. So basically, this method needs a deadline that is fixed, or else, how can I say, or else, basically, if this project is not done on time, it could run into so many delays, and the project would just jeopardize. It wouldn't be good at all. Another risk is another disadvantage is the method requires a highly skilled, experienced, and dedicated, committed team members. So this method requires highly skilled and experienced, dedicated, committed team members, or else the project will collapse. So basically, each team member's got to be highly skilled and committed to what they're doing. They've got to do whatever they're doing to 100% and make sure that the project is running on time, the sprints are constantly held, and everything is just going on fine. Another disadvantage is poorly defined tasks can lead to inaccuracies. Project costs and timelines won't be accurate if tasks are not well defined. If the initial goals are unclear, planning becomes difficult and sprints can take more time than originally estimated. Go. Now move on to the waterfall model. Waterfall model illustrates the software development process in a linear sequence flow. This implies that stages and the development process starts only if the past stage is finished. So basically, for you to move on to a stage, you've got to make sure that you finish a stage. You've got to make sure one stage is completed before you move on to another stage. Uh, Sorry. Yeah, and there are also 8 stages in this method. So you have to make sure those 8 stages are completed before you can move on to the next stage. And oh yeah, in this method, this method also requires a team. The team cannot go back to a previous stage without starting the whole process from the beginning. So for you to go back, you have to make sure that each stage is done according and is done really well. For you to go back to a different stage, for you to go back to a past stage, you can't do that. So you got to do that at the you can't do that. So basically, you have to start all over again. You have to start the whole process from the beginning, which is really annoying and it's going to cost time and cost more money as well. So you have to make sure each stages are done properly. Advantages of Scrum, Waterfall. Sorry, it is easy to manage. So on well-managed projects, waterfall may provide more confidence of what finally be delivered earlier in life cycle. So basically, waterfall, either if the project is done and managed well, it could actually be done on time. It could actually be done on time than the actual date or time given. Project team members don't need to be collocated together. So basically, they don't need to they don't need to be together. They could be at different places and they could work together, but the risk associated with this must be managed carefully. So basically, this means that they've got to work together by sending each other informations and just keeping each other up to date with what is going on in each phase. It's also discipline, and another advantage is discipline enforced. So each phase in Waterfall has a start and an end point. It is easy to share progress with stakeholders and customers by focusing on requirements and design before writing the code. The team can reduce a risk of a missed deadline. So if, like I said, if this project is done on time, it's done without no delay, then like I said, you could do it before the actual time given. Disadvantages of Waterfall. Waterfall projects don't have to be, but they tend to be made up of teams within teams, and this could be a major downfall for any project. So basically, if this project needs teams, but if you got teams within teams, then it's bad for the project because a team member could be falling behind in a project, but the team really needs that project. So a team member could be falling behind in a task given, and the team really needs that task. They need the task to move forward. So if a team member is falling behind, you're all basically falling behind because you have to wait for the team member to be done. Sorry. Yeah. Another disadvantages of Waterfall is software isn't delivered until late. So the project has to be completed to 4 phases before the coding actually begins. So as a result, stakeholders won't see working software until later in its life cycle. So basically, the bad thing about this is the project has to be completed to 2 or 4 phases. So so the stakeholders cannot see the project without it being completed. So that's a downfall. So let's imagine if the stakeholders didn't really like nothing about it, they can't really see it until the actual project is completed. So that's when they can see the actual software. Now move on to the programming language. We've got HTML, CSS, XML, PHP, and Microsoft. HTML represents hypertext markup language. It is used to make HTML sites. Its main function is to include information onto the web page. CSS, obviously, is utilized to add style to the site page, the font color, the textual sort, and design area. Extensive markup language is utilized to characterize information that is on the web page. PHP is used to make a website, so the scripts are executed on the server. Microsoft C, object-oriented language used to make applications. That's a general purpose programming language that utilizes C-style object-oriented language, making it a hybrid language. Now I want to programming concept. Common to use to show what codings we have written or what is the use of coding. So here we have single line and multi-line. Single line are comments used to comment on a line only, while multi-lines are comments used when you have to write a commented text in more than one line. So here I've got an example of a single and a multi-line. So here you go with the 2 dashes. Hello, how are you? The multi-line comments with a slash and start. Hey, my name is Emmanuel. This is my PowerPoint assignment for the information technology. Now moving on to the different flow statements. Different flow statements. So control flow statements allow breakage of the following execution by looping and branching and enabling your program to conditionally execute block codes. So there are 3 types of loops: there's while loop, for loop, and do while loops. So this loops through a code while a specific condition is valid. For loop, this loops a number of times through a block of code. Do while loop, this loops through a code while a specific condition is valid. So basically, while loop and do while loop are slightly similar. And loops are also utilized in programming to repeat a particular block to make sure some conditions are really met. Now we go to global and local variables. Global variables are variables that can be accessed by the entire system, whilst local variables are variables that can be accessed by that function, by that system. Move on to the different operators in JavaScript. Assignment operators, logical operators, comma operators, string operators, bitwise operators, and comparison operators. Now move on to the simple math quiz. The purpose of this PowerPoint was to show how we can deliver a simple math quiz. And here we go. So here it shows you here how I've done my math quiz. I've written out what is two times 2 equals obviously 4. We've also got different options you can choose from: 4, 6, 8, and the actual answer is then a bracket, which is A. So basically, what is 2 plus 2? 2, 3, 7. That is there. The answer is there in bracket, which is B. So basically, what is 2 plus 1? 3. So the answer isn't B because it's A, B, C. A, B, C. So the answer is B because it's 3. I'll actually go into my actual quiz and show you how it works in my appendix. Ooh. Sorry, ran into a bit of a. Yeah, sorry about that. I seem to run into like a bit of a problem. Let's go back up. Yeah, so sorry, I'm back now. So yeah, with my questionnaire, what is 2 times 2? The answer is 4, so we click 4. What is 2 plus 1? The answer is 3, so we click 3. What is 3 times 3? The answer is 9, so we click 9. What is 10 times 5? The answer is 50, so we click that. 5 minus 3, the answer is 2, so we click that. So you can see I've got 5 out of 5 questions correct. So now I'll go back onto my presentation. Go further down. Sorry about that. Just went into a bit of difficulties with the Wi-Fi. Oh yeah, so as you can see, that was my questionnaire, and this is the coding of how I did it. What is 2 times 2, 4, or all the codes are here. So yeah, so this is my questionnaire done. So I did the simple maths question that was asked of me. So that was done. So basically, this presentation now shows how I've used HTML, JavaScript, and the programming concept and language to help me make a simple maths question, which I have done. And that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you.